Meanwhile, we got another problem we found is a major oil leak. When someone replaced the distributor, they didn't replace the O-ring, and it just drips oil just like it should. And it's done it for a long time. We cleaned it up, we just made it apparent. But if you look down at the bell housing, you can tell this has been going on for however long that distributor was. A little bit of our mess from the water. That's okay, that's going to happen. But we'll see this one again. We're going to be fixing this oil leak, but she's got to get back to work, so we don't have time to fix it this time around. So as you can see, it's running. We got the water system hooked back up. We're burping it right now. Other than that, we're going to send this thing off. Today we've got the Bad Brakes Nissan back. The owner has wanted to get the car back into good running shape. I told her, you know, this kind of process does take about a year to do. This is going to be the 4th major project we've done so far. Now, this does not make this a bad car whatsoever. It has about 115,000 miles on it. But I do want to go over a couple things. You know, this car came from our local Union Gospel Mission. It's a great place, and they're honest about the cars they sell. But when I get one of their cars in here in my shop and I end up doing the work on them, usually the work's a little bit more severe than just, you know, a couple basic tune-up items. And that's where we're going to be at today. We're actually going to effect a repair that's already been done once, in my opinion. And we'll see as we get deep into this. I haven't taken anything apart yet, so I'm going to pretty much bring you along for the ride on this one. Today what we have is a major oil leak that we diagnosed from the last time we had it in when we did the thermostat job, which came out great. I don't have any water leaks that I can tell. Unfortunately, during that time, however, we did find a major oil leak, and I'll show you how this one worked. At some point in time, this car had a no spark condition, okay? And what I figure someone did is they replaced the distributor when they probably in all actuality had a wiring problem right here. But anyway, that was done. So pretty much what I'm saying here is someone's had this unit off. Well, there's a nasty O-ring that's right here. And the way that this shaft gets lubricated from engine oil basically will either be on a pressurized side or a splash side. I don't know yet. Every car is different. Running the engine though, however, you can see that the oil is coming from here and it just drips on down. And I'm going to get my other camera here and show you basically where the oil is going. Now, when they bought this car, Union Gospel Mission said it was a bad head gasket. Well, I mean, it still could have a weak head gasket, and that may be true, but I think they were basing that off the fact that this thing was leaking oil, what appeared to be out the head, and it wasn't. They just didn't understand what they were looking at. When a head gasket blows, your oil's going to blow down. It's not going to blow up, you know, unless, of course, you have the fan blowing it up. But in this case, you can literally watch it as it's running. It'll just run, and it'll just drip right off of here. Well, the head gasket's lower. There's no way that a head gasket blow would bring oil all the way back up and all this way. So I was misdiagnosed, and it was a good thing because she probably got a hell of a deal on this car. I don't know. But the thing is, this is what we have today to work on. So, yep, sorry for the long intro, but to make sense of what we do here, you know, part of the repair is also restoration, and these are more restoration projects than they are repair. This car can run for easy 200,000-300,000 miles if the systems are running as they should. It means it always has oil, always has water, spark and timing, fuel's always good. 300,000 miles, and then one day it just gets tired, blows smoke, and that's pretty much the end of that. So I'm going to show you the oil leak in depth here so you can see it. Okay, I'm going to bring up some arrows now, but I'm going to show you basically where it's dripping, and it runs right off the thermostat housing, right down inside the block, right onto the transmission, and that's all that wetness you see. Even the part that I just cleaned has only been in service for about a month now. As you can see, it doesn't look like I've really done much to it, even though I did 3 days worth of service on it. Get a little deeper, as you can see, it's all wet there. I could understand why they would think it's a head gasket, but it's not. It's not a head gasket. You know, basically we're going to be cleaning up someone's mess from this arena. Okay, with that being said, let's get busy. Now, if you do have this problem on your Nissan, what I'm going to tell you is we're going to go through a prescribed way of repair because we don't want to be retiming this motor. It runs, but we do have to take this out because the O-ring is literally on this shaft. So this is the problem. You just can't see it this way. And the oil leak isn't above this, it's below this. So it's not even a valve cover doing it. There's a light seat, but it's not. This could literally run you out of oil, this leak we have. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to get the distributor cap off. Then we're going to get the motor timed to where we want it, so when we go to do the reinstallation of the distributor shaft, we don't lose any timing at all. That's the one thing that could go bad on this job real easy, is if you're not careful in the beginning process, it will bite you in the end. Okay, first things first, we're just going to take the distributor cap off. We're not going to disconnect any of the wires. Oh, you're going to be one of those. Yeah, I'm going to have to hit that with a socket. That's on there way too tight. Once we get the cap off, I'm going to make some marks, some reinstallation marks. So I'm going to get that stuff. I'll be right back. Okay, so at this point we've got all the bolts removed from the valve cover. Before you pull your distributor, take the keys out. And if you do have a manual transmission car, put it in neutral and make sure your e-brake is on or your vehicle's blocked up if your e-brake don't work. Because one thing with the stick, and I've had this happen to me once in my career doing this stuff, I had someone lean on the car when it was still in gear and it screwed my timing up, and I had to do basically 4 hours of retime of a V6. It was a very fun night. Keys are out of the way. I just have pins that ran through it.
You shouldn't have stuck on TV on these.
I need to get this inspected first. I gotta get this cover off. I gotta get pull this bolt right here. Now I've got it marked. This wasn't even tight. Okay, let's open the bad boy up and cry. Okay, good news. We have oil here, but we don't have it all over, so I'm hoping it's still my original diagnosis and it's just the O-ring that's on the other side. But it's dripping out of the bottom where the O-ring seal would be. Okay, and another thing I'm going to mark while I've got, we're going to mark the relationship between here and our base in case we do move it, because it will move once we get it out. So now we have 3 timing marks. I've actually got 4, but I got 3 I can rely. Okay, first things first, I'm going to pop are going to be the main hold bolts and the adjustment bolts. Get those out of the way first. Okay, so I'm going to pull the first one. I've already marked my distributor, so I'm happy with that. Now everything I've torn apart, I'm keeping in a special area, so I know I don't lose my bolts. Okay, I just want to see if this will come out without it. Oh, it will. That is interesting. I have that much play, and there's my oil leak. You can see it too. So the O-ring failed. Okay, well, very good. This piece I'm holding in my hand is 140 bucks. Alright, so I'm going to give you a closer look at what the problem is, just so it really makes sense so we can drive it home. I'm going to show you inside the distributor housing. There's a black line right there, and I do believe that's where the oil is penetrating the gasket. So what I want to look at is what causes this massive oil leak on these Nissans with these original OEM distributors. This one is not the original that came with this car. This is a junkyard replacement. Doesn't make it bad, but if you're going to do that, okay, this is a Teflon neoprene gasket. What ends up happening, they shrink and pretty much oil just blows by. So you got oil pressure on this side. This is your sealing ring, and once it goes, it just blows oil everywhere. And this shaft actually has a little bit of wiggle to it. So that's kind of cool, but we got to get this off. You got to be careful with this because this is an optical trigger unit, so you don't want to be getting the optical ring dirty. That's this part that I've marked right there. I'm actually going to have to clean that up. Okay, so usually what I have to do with these, if I'm going to convert them to rubber, you got to basically cut them at an angle. Be careful not to scar your sealing surface. Sometimes even a pair of dikes won't work. A brand new razor blade is about the trick key here. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of room to work with, so I have to basically cut it in half. That's how you do that right there. Put this off to the side. Besides my cut, I wanted to see if there's an actual gouge or is this thing just wore out tired. Which my guess is going to be wore out tired. So, as you can see, cut it down an angle, save your fingers, get that out of the way, clean your fingers. This next part you want to have your hands clean for, and you're going to want to pick. Okay, get your good old Vaseline out. The gasket you're going to need is going to be a 70015. GM actually used this on these Isuzu V6s 173s. That's kind of interesting. Okay, so that's what the O-ring looks like, not Teflon. This will last a lot longer. Get some old prison rules going on here. Pretty liberal coat because you do not want this ripping when you go to put it on. And make sure your hands are clean of contaminants. Alright, grab your distributor. Now I'm going to use a pair of tweezers. I'm going to show you how we're going to use this for a slide. So one thing you don't want to do, you do not want to roll this gasket. Alright, take a little bit more prison lube here. I'm going to make sure there's a good bit of pre-lube here because this is going into a sealed surface. Other than that, the sealing surface of this job is done. Alright, take a little bit more prison lube here. I'm going to make sure there's a good bit of pre-lube here because this is going into a sealed surface. Other than that, the sealing surface of this job is done. Now it's just time for reassembly. I want to show you how clean I've gotten this so far, and it's going to be hard to show you, but the varnish line I've gotten cleaned up. And this is important and very important to sealing because of the fact there's a lot of oil pressure, it looks like, on this side, just the amount of volume that came out. There's at least a quarter quart there for sure. But with that being said, if you don't clean this up, you're just going to have the same problem again, even if you do replace the O-ring. Alright, at this point we're ready for reassembly. Let's get set for that.